Is this a top 10 lap from Quartararo? You bet it is. That's a brilliant lap by Quartararo. Those sectors 3 and 4 looked like he nailed them perfectly. A 1:51.293. Quartararo 5th and flying.
Sectors where you need a good front end on your motorcycle through those triple right-handers of 12, 13 and 14. You really do have to trust the front end too through the fast left of 15, and Fabio Quartararo certainly had that, using the strength of that Yamaha M1 to go up into 5th place. So we now have 2 Yamahas inside their top 10. Currently though, not an Aprilia, and Aigo unable to change that, although that is his best lap time of the night so far.
Gian Antonio, rapid in FP1, 2nd fastest, fresh off the back of his first podium since this Grand Prix here in 2023, where of course he was victorious. Who will ever forget in the media centre that weekend when we arrived in Doha, straight from the Phillip Island Grand Prix in Australia, where the Gian Antonio was on the podium, when he came here and said, I think I've got a chance of winning this Grand Prix on Sunday. He was almost laughed out of the paddock. And then of course he was true to his word, and he's quick again here in 2025 Qatar, up to P3, 1:51.129.
Yellow flags are out in sector 2. It's turn 7, and it's Jack Miller who's had his 2nd crash of the day. He went down in the latter stages of pre-practice 1 this afternoon at turn 4. He's now gone down at turn 7. That brings his evening to a close, and Jack Miller will not be going straight through to Q2.
Yeah, you feel like Jack's been chasing his tail for much of today. It looked like he was wide there, wasn't it, going through 7. Couple of big, heavy barrel rolls through the gravel for both rider and bike, and just angry, frustrated with himself, isn't he, there, Miller? So that's going to bring, well, the yellow flags are still out, so this is going to be costing a lot of riders time here. There is Miller walking away from the scene. There's a lot of bodywork scattered around that gravel trap as well, so it could take some time for that yellow flag to clear. Gino Borsoi, Pramac Yamaha team boss, looks on. So do his mechanics, because they know what was already going to be quite a long night. It's coming up to 9 p.m. local time here in Qatar. Well, most teams and mechanics, the team personnel, they're not heading back to the Swish hotels in downtown Doha until sort of midnight, maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It could be a little bit later now for the Pramac Yamaha crew, unless they decide to pack it up and have an early start tomorrow morning. But yeah, 2 big crashes on day 1 in Qatar for Miller. Yeah,
they'd already lost their lunch break earlier on. They're now potentially going to skip supper too to get that Pramac Yamaha fixed. Plenty of traffic here trying to jockey for position. No great importance on these laps at the moment, of course, because they will have all gone through that yellow flag zone in turn 7, but they're, I guess, trying to put themselves in the best possible part of the racetrack, and it appears as if the place they all want to be is right on the rear tyre of Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah, I just love it. It doesn't matter that they're still trying to just build up rhythm. Oh!
That was everything but a 2nd crash of the day for Chandra too.
How do you like your stunning save, Songkjær? That was a brilliant recovery. Deary me. It's going to take a little bit of time for the heart rate to cool for the tie rider. Frankie Morbidelli still looking strong. It's been a great opening day here in Qatar for VR46 Racing Team, with the boss present and trackside as well. 3rd and 4th Rossi's riders currently sit, so they're cruising into Q2. Back then, at full racing speed we go. Yellow flags cleared for the late Miller crash, which means Marc Marquez head back under the bubble, trying to find 1:50.975 or better to put him back in P1. Brad Binder's got great track position here, hasn't he? 33, tucked in right behind the rear tyre of 93. Any slipstream you can get down this long 1,068-metre start-finish straight is going to be a big benefit. Binder's already got the fastest motorcycle in terms of top speed around this Losail International Circuit, with a bit of slipstream as well. Well, hopefully that will secure Binder's place in Q2.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether he is actually on the right part of the racetrack, because both of the factory Ducati riders, according to our timing screens at least, have gone back out there on a used medium rear tyre. So it doesn't appear as if Bagnaia and Marc Marquez are going for a last-ditch time attack, because they're both comfortably safe in the high 150s. Binder does need a lap because he's currently defending that 10th place. Every rider now, with the exception of Jack Miller, who's crashed, and Fabio Quartararo, who's pitted, are still out there and still pushing for a Q2 spot.
There's life left in this session for Johan Zarco. 13th at the moment is the Frenchman on the LCR Honda, and he's looking to work his way up inside that top 10. Likewise, the rookie Fermin Aldeguer. who unfortunately with that late crash in Qatar blew his hopes of a first top 5 in the MotoGP World Championship. And Pedro Acosta coming with a late flurry as well here. Under the lights in Losail. At the moment, it's going to be Pecco Bagnaia shining brightest on day one here in Qatar. But what about Johan Zarco? Lost a lot of time in that third sector and he wasn't able to recover it in the final split, so Zarco remains down in 13th place. Pedro Acosta, as we pick up the 54 of Aldeguer now through turn 16, he's going to need to really nail the exit here if he is to trouble that top 10. Over the line he goes, brilliant, just about creeps in. 9th spot for Aldeguer. What about Acosta? Surely he's going to keep his place in Q2. No, he lost a lot of time in that fourth sector. You can almost see the frustration on his head as he came over the line. Looks like though he should be safe.
Yeah, 7th place at the moment, so 2 KTMs currently going through because Brad Binder was relegated out of the top 10 by that lap from Aldeguer. Binder has just got over the line. He will have one more time lap of this, and Binder needs it if he's going to avoid a third consecutive trip through qualifying 1. Here comes Morbidelli then, who's about to depose the 2 factory Ducati teammates with a 150.830, and it's Morbidelli who's going to top day 1 in Qatar.
Just what the doctor ordered. Valentino Rossi, the 9 times world champion, present and correct here in Qatar, and Frankie Morbidelli puts a big smile on the face of the boss. Thumbs up as well. We've got another faller, or is that it looks like there's a bit of debris there.
Turn 1. Yeah, that's a motorcycle pulling away, and it's a KTM of Brad Binder, who did get over for one time lap, but it didn't even last one corner.
And that's been costly for Binder, because that means he is in Q1. There he was trying to latch onto the rear tyre of Marquez. Pretty innocuous slide out through the middle of turn 1. And Brad Binder then 13th quickest. Johan Zarco, he's going to need an inch perfect fourth sector here. And of course, this is where the Honda's weak. They are lacking acceleration, they are lacking top speed, so this is not really a time or a part of this circuit where you can recover time on a Honda. Oh, brilliant. That was absolutely awesome. Well, we said he had to be inch perfect on that Honda, and he was. Zarco then, by the skin of his teeth, he's going to look at the big screen on the outside of turn 1 and breathe an almighty sigh of relief. There you go, there's a fist pump. Job well done. Zarco into Q2 by 0.03 of a second. The big loser right at the death, Alex Rins.
4 of our 5 factories got a bike, at least one, through to Q2. Of course, Ducati got their full fleet of riders through. All 6 go through. KTM got a couple of riders through, Pedro Acosta and Maverick Vinales. 1 Yamaha, Quartararo that is, and 1 Honda, Johan Zarco. No Aprilias into qualifying 2. 19th and 20th for the factory team. Credit to Jorge Martin, who went out there right at the very end and set a personal best on a 152.398. In the end, he was only 0.2 of a second shy of his teammate Marco Bezzecchi.